scream for no apparent reason about whatever it is, like the amnesia video with the guy just shrieking repeatedly, or somebody playing Call of Duty just, you know, saying terrible things. We would be trying to cater to an audience that I think is that is in development right now, and they're hungry for the content. There's not enough things out there actually going into the underlying processes of video games and stuff. It's just mostly they do it for, you know, shock value or entertainment strictly, but no one actually kind of sits there and looks at it and actually tries to go beyond what you see on the surface.
All right, so to keep moving here, Terry's going to be the last question for this.
If we were to do this, how exactly would we film our gameplay? Because there's a lot of ways to do that. If you're using a computer game, you could just Fraps it, or you could use professional recording software. How would you say we would do this?
We do have like a video capturing something, right? Or another up in the locker?
Yeah. We have two, one's 1080p and one's 720p.
Okay, well,
the software.
There's the first part taken care of, and that's usually the biggest part to get over. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that answers my question.
Or, you know,
Kurt, do you have a brief question?
I have one very brief question. So if we make a YouTube channel and make money through YouTube, what would you do with the money?
It's not my money, it's the club's.
Or anyone, really. Just something to think about. Like maybe we
I
could make a
don't know.
YouTube channel and you get money, if you have enough views, you eventually do get paid for that.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm not prone to holding my breath for things. So it sounds like an interesting hypothesis, and it's something we should keep in mind, but it's not.
It's a little soon.
It's not a near-term thing at all, in my opinion. All right, thank you, Andre, and we'll talk more about this.
I don't even remember anymore.
Okay.
What should we see?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. I did say that people in the audience should go first. Does anyone else have any ideas that they'd like to field right now before we start giving? Yeah.
So one idea I was thinking about in regards to the workshops, I felt like some of the workshops, you know, because for example, for myself, you know, I'm interested in getting into like level design and environmental art. So it would be interesting to have sort of more targeted and smaller workshop sessions. So for example, we could create one for programming, one for 3D modeling, one for, you know, art, and then have subject matter experts teach those, you know, sort of small groups. And that way, rather than having the entire club do it, they could have it figure out a time that works best for everyone. They could meet on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis. Just that way it's more targeted. That way people, you know, if people who want to become programmers, they can, you know, go to the programming session and, you know, and don't have to worry about sitting through like level design or anything like that. And you could also use those sessions to work on portfolio pieces as well. You could, you know, outline what you'd want to do as a project over the course of the semester, and then, you know, use the sessions to actually do that work and get feedback right there on what's good and what needs to be improved.
I like that idea so much that it was part of my presidential platform.
Oh. Well, I thought you were talking about a different format, though.
Huh?
I thought you were talking about a different format for the workshop.
In my idea of how it would work, we would meet during the meeting times, and we would split off into 3 groups. One that works on programming skill, one that works on a level design skill with a specific piece of software, and one that works on aesthetic development skills, such as becoming more familiar with the more technical aspects of Photoshop and Illustrator, 3ds Max, Audacity, maybe even FL Studio if the interest is there. So, I mean, that is something that we're definitely interested in doing. I think the main difference is that I was thinking we would do it during the regular meetings in place like every other week.
Right.
Instead of...
Well, then I feel like with that, you're cutting into the meeting time, so if people can organize themselves outside of the meeting, then that gives them, one, another opportunity to meet, you know, outside of this room, but then it doesn't take away from the meetings.
It's a lot harder to get people together on a day that's not the meeting day, because we've actually tried that several times with, like, I know one of them was the audio workshop that we had either last year or a couple years before. there was like 3 people there. And I agree that we do need more tracks, and that's one of the things that we're working on.
It is, like, the reason that I picked the meeting time for the meeting, the reason I picked the meeting time for when these workshops would take place
Right.
is because it's when the greatest number of people have said that they're available, and assumedly, it's under the assumption that it's much harder to get somebody that's skilled enough to teach the workshop and a fairly significant number of people to all meet at the same time outside of the.
Well, I don't think it needs to be like a significant number of people.
Well,
I think if you
yeah.
want to get a couple people together.
I'm talking like 5 or 6 people.
Okay.
We had workshops where only 2 people showed up when we tried doing that outside of the meeting.
Character-centric design.
Character-centric design, yes. Kurt, you raised your hand for a minute about this?
I was wondering what our future VP of events thinks about this.
Good idea.
Well, I think.
Yep, guess what you're not. Abigail, what do you think?
I think it's a great idea. I actually have, one of my ideas is actually kind of very similar to that, definitely with working on portfolio pieces, because that is something that we're all going to need if we really want to get anywhere in the game industry.
So like during the meeting or like some other time?
That would all depend on which was best for people attending. From past experience, it seems like it's better to do it during the meeting, and for something as important as that, definitely during the meeting is probably the best.
So, but yeah, that's definitely something that we're interested in pursuing, long-term workshops. So we can build skills over the course of several years being in the club that'll make you a more specialized individual when you get out to the industry. Thank you. Are there any other questions about that topic, or any other ideas from the audience about things that you'd like to see the club put on next year? Chris?
I just thought for a workshop idea, I think maybe I suggested this before, something maybe with like quality assurance testing. Would that be a good concept?
It's possible.
Okay.
That's, we've never put it on before, and it has been suggested, as you said. So we'll take a look at the semantics involved with it. The difficulty is that each company has different modes of operation for their quality assurance testing programs. But we can try and work something out if there's a lot of interest in the quality assurance workshop. What do you guys think? Is that something you'd be interested in seeing, a quality assurance workshop?
I think we were going to go through it at one time, but like the person we had dropped out or something, right?
I don't think so.
No.
I thought there was.
That's what happened.
The interview workshop, right?
No, we were gonna have a QA workshop.
Really?
Yeah,
with
I
some
was
QA
about to say,
people, and they
'cause-
dropped out.
Okay. Well, can you raise your hand if you're interested in a quality assurance workshop instead of like the nodding thing?
Well,
I appreciate the nods, but
would it be just like game-breaking glitches and stuff like that, or would it be not to make a bad game, period? Would it be like both?
it's easier to do a workshop where you learn how to break games rather than have a workshop where you learn how to not have a broken game.
Make the best games ever.
Okay.
There are a lot of problems that go into what breaks a game. There aren't too many processes you need to go through to break a game on your own. At least as far as at least relatively speaking, there are more things that cause a game to break rather than what cause a game to be broken rather than what you need to do in order to find out if a game is broken.
So the quality assurance one will be